Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Astrologer Frank Answers. Today, we're going to be looking at a question from Michelle about the 12th house. But just a quick note, you can always email us at the school by creating an account at londonschoolastrastrology.com and emailing any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them in the next month or two. So let's take a look at this question from Michelle. We'll take a look at her chart. And the question's about the 12th house. She says, how can I get the most positive or helpful aspects of this stellium, of this collection of planets in Virgo in the 12th house, considering that the 12th house, she says, isn't the most positive of houses? And first of all, I would argue that I don't think it's a negative house by any means. I think it's misunderstood. It's certainly given a bad rap in classical or traditional astrology because it's the house that falls behind the ascendant in that way. There are different ways of looking at it, and I'll spend more time at a later date, no doubt, exploring the 12th house. But if you think about it, it's actually where the planets have just risen. Over the horizon, over the eastern horizon. They're actually on their way up towards the midheaven in the chart. And that gives us an idea that planets in the 12th house are actually very visible, but a bit like at sunrise, it's best not to stare directly into those planets or directly into the sun. So what I often suggest with 12th house planets is to ask other people around what they see, what they make of your life and the impression that you give, because often the 12th house planets we have are very noticeable to everyone but ourselves. So think of the sunshine of being so bright at the beginning of the day, and think of a newborn baby as well, where everybody is aware of it and it's not really yet become aware of itself. So the 12th house has a connection to the areas of our life that are very strong, shout loudly in our makeup. People get them. They get to see those areas of our lives very clearly. But we may not be totally aware of them ourselves. Traditionally, it's associated with hospitals, anywhere where we retreat or we give up ourselves, our will to another. Prisons, hospitals, all the stuff that none of us really want to engage with or go to. But on a deeper level, the 12th house is really about sharing and servicing the collective in some way, whatever that may mean to you. It could be, particularly in your case, Michelle, with the Virgo planets there, it's very much about giving of yourself, but as I always say, not giving up yourself completely. So it's finding something that you can be useful in a Virgo way, to give generously of your time, but not to lose yourself in. Often 12th house and Virgo, these are areas of our chart where we dedicate to the point where we lose track of what we need, or we get steamrolled into doing things, or we end up on a conveyor belt working for other people and commitments towards other people, and we forget our own sense of identity. Now, that can be useful at times, but it's not useful 24/7. So when you have, like you do, 4 planets, depending on the house system, but with equal 4 planets in the 12th house, I would say find something you can be dedicated to that has good structured hours where you don't lose yourself and people are not ringing you at 10 p.m. or 2 o'clock in the morning needing your help, but where you can really make a difference. Virgo is one of those very, I should say, it's a very powerful sign. It's just understated. It's very quiet about it. And it really does make the machinery work. It really is the genius behind the workings and the amazing launch or party. It's done the work behind the scenes. And so thinking about that image, I would say find something where you can be instrumental and a great service to people. You don't have to be particularly in the spotlight, although the Leo part of your chart I would say, need some recognition for what you do and who you are. You need to stamp your individual mark, your branding onto your life and onto your work. So as a combination, it's very interesting, those two, the Leo and the Virgo. So find something that really appeals, that has meaning for you. That Venus Jupiter is has a great way of realizing that God is in the detail, or that little things mean a lot. Venus Jupiter in Virgo, that sense of I will be of service, I'll do something to fix it and to make it work for everyone or for a particular group. So you may already have some ideas, Michelle, and it'd be great to hear from you, some sort of feedback of what you do at the moment with that. But it's really asking for service, but not servitude. I think that's the key with it. The Venus is obviously very important with being a Libra rising and also having the moon in a Venus sign too. So the craft, the beauty of Venus in Virgo, the perfection, but also the perfection of imperfection. The idea that it's not 100% right, but it's beautiful in itself. So I think that's an important thing. It's a bit like the quote about the crack in the glass. It's where the light comes through, and that feels to me very Venus in Virgo. So it's a very generous aspect you have in your chart, the Venus Jupiter conjunction. It may sometimes get overwhelmed with the Uranus Pluto nearby, particularly from your early years, from the age of 10, possibly 13, all the way up to 18, 19 years old. There may have been quite a bit of drama going on that you had to juggle. But often Uranus and Pluto, being the big guys, the big outer guys, can dominate or overwhelm that. So again, it's important to structure your life in a way where you're very aware of time, you're very aware of commitments, and that they don't overwhelm. They don't take up more time than is healthy for you as well. Okay, her 12th house, fascinating house, not really an evil house as you might read in some old literature that somebody wrote. Really, so the houses, their interpretations from many, many moons ago, come really from their relationship to the ascendant and whether they can see the ascendant by traditional aspects. So the 6th house, the 8th house, the 12th house, they have bad reputations with some astrologers, or at least with some historical texts. Really not the case. The water houses 4, 8, and 12 are all places that we need to sort of rest in a very peaceful way, to sort of soak up energy and to be maybe guarded about how much we give. They're very sensitive areas of the chart that aren't easily accessed in the most obvious of ways. So they have to be treated with care and respect. And you have your moon in the 8th house as well, which is perhaps a bit of a challenge sometimes to address those important needs you have and to be able to put that self-care in place as well. And that may be done through obvious ways, sometimes through gardening, cooking, doing Taurian things where you're feeling, you're processing that moon through the physical activity that tactile Taurus really does need as well. So have a think about that. Come back to me if you like about your that 12th house and see whether tell me if you're doing anything with it that speaks of that service as well. All right. Hope that was an introduction to the 12th for you, Michelle, and thank you for emailing. You can always go to the londonschoolastrology.com. We've got some live open house Q&As coming up as well, so feel welcome to join those. You'll get the details directly through there, and hope to see you all soon. You take care. Bye-bye.